And I always held it very deeply in my heart as kind of a sorrow that I never felt all that attuned to foreign languages. And I did not discipline myself. I didn't go that route of, I wanted to learn French, and I wanted to learn Spanish, and I wanted to learn Chinese. I wanted to learn it all. Needless to say, I can just about say bonjour correctly. And probably those of you who are very steeped in French are cringing. But these other languages that are here for us, you can learn it. You can learn the Galactic language. And I think in my case, I mastered the language of the hand, the language of the stars, the language of light, which is what the Gene Keys is about, the language of feng shui, which basically is Chinese, or certainly Eastern and Asian. Hopefully, I've learned the language of the heart. So these languages, although we feel maybe not particularly adept at being able to speak Chinese, in an odd way, I can speak Chinese. Where I live now, my landlord is Chinese, and I would tell you, we have the most loving, heartfelt relationship. And I don't know how that's happening, because I guarantee my best Chinese is simply a gracious bow or kung fu. I really am not adept at it. And equally, they have opened their heart. So lots of languaging available as of stepping into a yellow crystal seed year. So the galactic affirmation is, I dedicate in order to target. So in other words, this is where your power is in this coming year. I dedicate my consciousness to help you. So it's a focused dedication, and it's completely empowering to both of us. It goes on to affirming universalizing awareness. And that's the action. I want to know that by my consciousness expanding, I can have an awareness of everything at all times. I don't have to experience living in a war-torn country to be able to internalize it and be enough of it so that the compassion of healing overflows, and those who want to step into the healing aspect of it can. The essence part of this affirmation this year is, I seal the input of flowering via the crystal tone of cooperation. Now, as you can see, this is like a language. I'm telling you, I would go over something like this for a long time, perhaps all year. I bet you I will go over it all year, because it keeps sinking in different ways. So when I seal the input of flowering, I want to be an open flower. That's my choice now. For years and years and years, I was much more comfortable being a closed, tight bud, meaning very shy, very frightened that I wouldn't be accepted, I wouldn't be appreciated, I wouldn't be understood. Well, that closes you down. So now I want to have this flowering thing so that perhaps whatever the fragrance is that wafts out of the radiance, you can smell it over the airwaves. Maybe there's a sense of lilac or rose that all of a sudden will hit you and heal you. And we didn't even speak. And that's a tone of cooperation. That shows your heart is putting down judgments that, oh, she's into the woo-woo stuff again, or I don't like the tone of her voice, or she said something I don't care for, she has blonde hair and I hate blondes. You put it down. And therefore, this magnificent flowering is here for us for the next 365 days. That's all good enough. But here's the part that actually I didn't get it the first go-around. It took me all week as I contemplated, how am I going to present this in a way that, number one, makes sense to me, but that you'll get it. And the whole affirmation, I'm going to read it again because it's the last sentence I have not read, but it's topped off with this. So the affirmation is, I dedicate in order to target universalizing awareness. I seal the input of flowering with the crystal tone of cooperation. I am a galactic activation portal. Enter me. I am a galactic activation portal. Enter me. Now, some of you who have really been listening and working with what I've said all these weeks, you know once in a while I get a little wild in the streets because it's like, oh my gosh, it's a galactic activation day. Holy smokes, I'm like jumping up and down like a crazy woman. What struck me is, oh my, the entire year is a portal. It's a galactic activation portal. The only thing you're invited to do is enter it. It's there for you. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing with these portals this year, but I'm feeling it because I'm choosing to go into the portal. So there's a lot that we get to do together, and it is a year of togetherness. It really is. It's a cycle for positive synergy and expansion. And I actually thought, you know what? What exactly does that word synergy mean? I've used it. I've written about it. I didn't have a clue. So I pulled out old Mr. Webster, and it is the interaction or cooperation of two or more to produce a combined effect greater than the sum of our separate effects. So, and they gave the example, the synergy between artist and a record company. The artist needs the recording company. Elaine I need Talk Network Radio. I need Jeff. There's the synergy. So there's supposed to be a lot more synergy this year. So as much as the little retiring closed butt of me would like to stay that way at times, I really tell myself, drop it, get on with it, because in this new cycle, here is what we have been called to do. We have been called to be an instrument of higher order. And incidentally, there's 8 things here, and I'm going to spit them out. If any of you want to email me, purpleportal777@gmail.com, I'll send you these 8 things. They're just 8 lovely things. So you're called to be an instrument of higher order. That means bringing forth energies that are larger than yourself. That's what the portal's about. You are called to experience life as an interconnected mandala. And that is true. You are called to welcome coherency, meaning stick together. And you're called to welcome complex stability. That's all number 3. To welcome coherency, meaning sticking together, and complex stability. So you're going to feel a little unstable before you can feel stability, but your stability may come by holding someone else's hand. Your stability may come by finding that right helpful healer. And then there's no one who's actually a healer, but that agent who's holding the space for your healing to return to its natural state. Number 4, you're called to cooperate with your own higher self. That's a big one, because half of you are like, Duh. Higher who? What? Where? So you must cooperate with your own higher self. That's called your conscience. That's called you know what to do. So cooperate with it. Don't be playing around this year. You're called to energize your networks, your infrastructure, your people that you know. That's an important one. At least it resonates with me because, I can only share my stuff and hope that some which way it triggers something in you. I have no need to share my stuff. I could care less what happened anymore. But if it helps you, take it and go with it. The reason this strikes a chord with me, I grew up as the middle child of 5 kids. I was the balance wheel. I was the one that wanted to create harmony and not further chaos. Therefore, I would not ask for something and I wouldn't reach out easily for fear that it would put too much on the person. But I'll tell you what, this year, those people that perhaps they need reaching out to. I thought of a few of them driving up here today. In my tenderness, I don't want to interfere with you. I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable or unhappy. No, we're all one people. So look out, some of you. You're going to receive phone calls from me. Number 6, you're called to honor the wisdom of the circle. If you're not comfortable in a circle, I'm going to give you a very simple exercise. Take a pencil and paper and simply draw circles within circles within circles. That's actually how we had to learn the Palmer method. We had to draw these circles within circles. It will begin to shift stuck energy, and it's just that simple. Number 7, collaborate in community and join forces to serve your deepest callings. Pay attention to what you're called to do. Somebody recently mentioned a group that's starting up near me where it's all faiths. And each person gets to kind of tell where they're standing in their stuff. It's not connected with any religious order. It's almost more of a show and tell. This is what I'm about. This is why I wear this turban. Don't be afraid of me because I have a scarf on. I think that is going to be so healing for people. So step out of your narrow confines of your belief system that you can only go to one organization or one church. And if that church is telling you that, really run. Really run. Number 8, you are called to follow what is called the crystalline clarity of your heart. So that means the purest part of your heart. And I tell you, the heart has reason that reason knows nothing of. So trust your heart. It won't mislead you. It loves you. It probably loves you more than you love you. For that, I would say, many of you have some crystals that you purchased through me at different incarnations of different stores and things. This day is the day between today and tomorrow. Take those crystals out, love them again, give them a bath. One person I'm thinking of comes to mind right now. Miss Kathy, if you're listening up in Franklin Lakes, this is about you because I know how much you love your crystals. You talk to your crystals. You sit with your crystals. This beautiful soul should give classes on crystals because she's got it. She has the language of crystals down pat. One of her magnificent crystal bowls unfortunately broke. Oh my goodness. She waited for the right day. She cried with this crystal. She waited for the right day to take it out in the yard and bury it and give it the most beautiful ceremony so it could go forward. It was really remarkable to watch. So that's the 8th one. Let the crystals help you. Get in touch with your heart. Crystalline clarity actually supposedly was to have